Welcome mamas to phase 1, day 2 of your postpartum ab workout program. So we're moving into our first exercise. Gonna start again with the transverse abdominis breathing. So if you've already done phase 1, day 1, you know this one. We breathe in, inflating the belly, breathe out, pull that belly button in toward your spine, and we keep going. Inhale, exhale. Pressing that lower back toward the floor. And if this is your first one, I suggest you go back to that phase 1, day 1 workout. That'll give you a more comprehensive explanation of this exercise and what we're gonna do today. These workouts build on each other. And this is the second one of this series. We're gonna have 8 total. Keep that belly button pulled in toward your spine. We're gonna maintain that pressure as we move into our supine marching. So next exercise, one leg up, put it down, opposite leg. So as you're moving those legs, you know it, pressing the low back into the floor, light on those feet. 90 degrees at the top. And hands can be just by your sides here, but I don't want you gripping into the floor. I want you relaxing. Good, this one should still feel really gentle here, not a ton of pressure in those abs. But we are starting, these are the beginning phases, the beginning workouts, so they should be a little less intense and more gentle. We're gonna build on that. All right, next up, we've got that reverse march. So we're heating up the core. If it's too much, stay with that supine march. The reverse, we start with the legs up. You're gonna feel that core heat up, pull that belly in, and let's do it. Tap and lift, 90 degrees at the top. As you're moving that leg down and up, you'll feel your low back want to lift off the ground. By intentionally pressing it down, you're keeping that TVA engaged. And that's what's gonna help close that gap, that diastasis recti. That's gonna help strengthen from the inside out, so you can really strengthen your waistline, lean things out, lose that excess baby weight around the midsection. And if you had a C-section like me, that's what's gonna help alleviate that shelf that the C-section incision creates. All right, let's recover. Next up, we're gonna move to a single leg march with an extension. So we're gonna extend one leg right up over the hip and then extend it out to about 45 degrees. And then we're gonna bend it and release. So we're staying on that same leg, lift, press out, bend and tap. So again, pretty gentle here. We wanna keep that belly button pulled in, low back pressing down. And adding that movement of that leg makes the core have to work a little bit harder to stabilize. And you have to be more intentional about bracing, but that's a good thing. That's what's gonna tone, strengthen. All right, we'll move to the other leg. We're gonna do the same thing, opposite side. Here we go, we lift, extend. So in the beginning phases, we don't wanna take that leg too low. If you need to, just take it a little higher. As long as that lower back is pressing down toward the floor, we're good. I find that one side's a little easier than the other, and that's perfectly fine, perfectly normal. Working on evening things out here. All right, let's recover. We're gonna move on and work our glutes. Strong glutes is a great way to rebuild that core. So pull your heels close to your butt. We're gonna bridge the hips up, squeeze glutes, and release. Okay, you can't have a strong core without working your glutes and strengthening them as well. This one's also great for the pelvic floor. And I don't want you to thrust your hips up too high. Stop right about here where you're engaging those glutes. If you go higher, like here, for example, those hip flexors are gonna be doing a lot of the work. So we want to keep that work in the back of the body, the glutes, the hamstrings, the back. Squeeze here and release. As you're doing that, pull that belly button in toward your spine, bracing those abs too. It's a lot of little things I'm gonna give you to do in these workouts, but if you put them all together, with time, repetition, they will work for you. All right, we're gonna add to this. We're gonna come up in that bridge and we're gonna pulse at the top. So here we go, 50 seconds. Tiny pulse. Driving through the heels, so that weight going into your heels is gonna engage those glutes. Keeping that pulse tiny, keep that tension in the muscle, staying at the top of that range. If you need to take a break in this one, you can drop down for a few seconds, come right back up. I know it's a little more intense, but you can really feel those glutes firing. Almost there. And recover. All right, we're gonna move on. Coming to our hands and knees for a bird dog. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're gonna raise the right arm and the left leg, arm, shoulder height, leg, hip height, and release. So we did this in phase one. This time we're just alternating sides instead of staying on one side. And again, that leg, we don't want to go too high to take the work into the low back. We want to keep it about hip level. That's also going to help us balance, in addition to keeping our shoulders over the wrists. And that'll also help keep that pressure in the core, in the posterior chain where we want it. If we shift back too much, not only is it going to throw you off balance, but it's going to take the work out of your core. And release. All right, we're gonna move on to our last exercise. We've got one on each side. We're gonna bend the bottom leg, extend the top leg, bend the bottom arm 90 degrees, top hand on your hip. We're gonna lift the hip off the floor and put it back down. Now this one's maybe a little bit more advanced, so I want you to make sure you have that good alignment. So hip is in line with the forearm, 90 degrees in that forearm. Top leg is straight, and we're lifting through the underside of the waist and pressing through that forearm, pulling the shoulder away from the ear. We don't want to collapse into that shoulder. As you lift, pull that belly button in toward your spine. Take this one as slow as you need to. You might need to take breaks throughout this interval. This one is a little bit more challenging. But that's why we work this in phases. You can always stay with that phase one, day one, for a few weeks even if you need to. You can work at your own pace here in this program and move on as you feel like you're ready to. But this guideline that I'm giving you is just a rough estimate of how long you're gonna be doing each exercise, each workout. And if you do them in succession like this, like I said, they build on each other. So you're gonna start to get those benefits of rebuilding, strengthening, and then eventually sculpting your abs. But it takes time, it takes consistency. You gotta slow down sometimes and move slower and more intentionally than you want to. But if you want to really recover, heal, strengthen your abs, it's what we gotta do. Last 5 seconds. There we have it. All right, that's phase 1, day 2 of our postpartum ab program. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you want to check out more of my postpartum ab workouts. Like I said, this one's there's gonna be 4 phases, so stay tuned for our next phase and next 2 workouts. But this one, again, I'd recommend 3 times a week, in addition to that phase 1, day 1, for 3 weeks to complete that first phase of really healing and repairing your abs before moving on to that next phase. So thank you guys, hope you enjoyed it.